At my friend's wedding, my wife whispered to her ex, "I miss nights like those." So I decided to show her what she'd really missed. I knew something was wrong the moment I saw the way she looked at him. Not a glance, not a polite nod, no. It was that split second of recognition that cuts through a crowd like a spark in a gas leak. We were at my best friend Ryan's wedding. The string lights glowing gold over the dance floor, laughter and clinking glasses filling the hall. And then across that sea of tuxedos and dresses, my wife's eyes met his. Her ex Daniel. She froze, glass halfway to her lips, the faintest tremor in her hand. I saw it. I saw everything. You don't spend 7 years with someone without learning every nuance of their body language. The way she bit her lower lip, the slight tilt of her head, the forced smile, she was remembering. I tried to ignore it. Tried to push the creeping dread back down my throat with champagne. Ryan was introducing me to people, telling stories, and I laughed in all the right places. But my eyes kept drifting back to her. To them. The two of them standing near the bar, pretending it was all casual, that he hadn't once been the man she thought she'd spend forever with. It wasn't until later, when the music slowed and the crowd thinned out, that it happened. The moment that shattered everything. I was coming back from the restroom, walking past the side corridor near the patio doors, when I heard her voice, low, familiar, soft. And then his. I don't know why I stopped. Maybe I did know. Maybe part of me already wanted to catch her in something, to confirm what my gut had been screaming all night. "I miss nights like those," she whispered. His laugh came out rough, nostalgic. "Yeah. You always did love trouble." I didn't hear the rest. I didn't need to. The world tilted for a second, and I stood there staring at the floor tiles, my chest tight and hollow all at once. It wasn't even what she said, it was how she said it. That wistful tone that used to be reserved for me. When she found me again on the dance floor, I pretended nothing was wrong. I smiled, handed her another drink, and asked if she was having fun. She said yes too quickly. Her hand brushed mine, and I felt the guilt radiate from her skin. Maybe she thought I didn't notice. Maybe she thought I was too naive to suspect that my wife could still be haunted by a ghost she once loved. But the truth is, I saw everything. That night, after the wedding, she fell asleep beside me in the hotel room. I lay there, staring at the ceiling fan, replaying that whisper over and over in my head. I miss nights like those. What nights? What memories did she mean, the ones with laughter and music, or the ones where she was tangled up with him in the dark before she ever met me? I didn't sleep. Not a second. When the morning light slipped through the curtains, I was already dressed, scrolling through her phone on the nightstand. I know it's wrong, I know it's a breach of trust, but so is whispering to your ex about the nights you miss. Her texts were mostly normal. Family group chats, work messages. But then I found his name. Daniel M. Just 2 short threads, weeks apart. "Hey, heard you're married now. Congrats." "Yeah. You too. Hope you're happy." And then a newer one, sent 2 days before the wedding. "Can't believe you'll be at Ryan's. Feels like forever." No reply from her. Just seen. That scene burned in my mind all day. She hadn't replied, but she'd read it. And she'd gone to that wedding knowing he'd be there. I didn't confront her. Not right away. I wanted to see who she really was when she thought I wasn't watching. So I started paying attention, small things, quiet things. The way she took longer showers at night. The way she suddenly had to work late twice a week. How her phone was always face down now. And yet, she still kissed me goodbye in the mornings. Still laughed at my stupid jokes. Still curled up against me during movies. That was the part that hurt the most. The pretense, the everyday love that felt suddenly borrowed, temporary. Like I was living in someone else's marriage. 2 weeks later, I asked her casually, "Do you ever talk to Daniel anymore?" She looked up from her laptop, expression steady. "No. Why?" "Just wondering," I said. She smiled faintly, too faintly. "You're cute when you get jealous." That night, I decided to show her what she'd really missed. Not out of revenge. Not even anger. Just clarity. I cooked dinner, her favorite creamy garlic pasta with grilled salmon, and poured wine. We sat across from each other like it was any normal evening. But when she reached for her glass, I stopped her hand. "I heard what you said to Daniel at the wedding," I said. Her body froze. For a second, all the blood drained from her face. Then she tried to laugh it off. "What? What are you talking about?" I miss nights like those. That's what you said, right? I kept my voice calm, almost gentle. She swallowed. It wasn't like that. It was just nostalgia. We were kids. I didn't mean anything by it. I stared at her, really looked at her, and realized she wasn't lying, not completely. She probably didn't mean to hurt me. But that's the thing about betrayal. It's not always deliberate. Sometimes it's just selfishness dressed up as sentiment. You could have told me, I said quietly. You could have said he'd be there. You could have said it stirred something up. I would have understood. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't want to ruin the night. I didn't think it mattered. But it did, I said. It mattered to me. She reached across the table, but I didn't move. I just looked at her, really looked. And for the first time in years I saw her not as my wife but as a stranger I'd built a home around. That night I didn't yell. I didn't pack a bag. I just sat beside her on the couch and asked, "Are you happy?" She hesitated too long. "I don't know," she whispered. That silence between us stretched like a crack across glass. And in that crack everything we'd built started to fall apart. Not loudly but slowly, quietly, like dust settling in an abandoned house. Over the next few weeks we tried. Date nights, honest talks, apologies whispered in the dark. But something fundamental had shifted. Every time she smiled at me, I wondered if she was remembering him. Every time I kissed her, I wondered if I was just filling in for the man she once loved more. In the end, I didn't leave in anger. I left because staying felt like living in someone else's memory. The day I moved out, she stood by the door, eyes red, hands trembling. "You're really going?" she asked. I nodded. "You said you missed nights like those," I said softly. "I just realized I missed the man I was before I started wondering who you wished I was." She cried. I didn't. I'd already done my crying in silence weeks ago. Now some nights I still think about her, about us, about that wedding and the words that changed everything. I don't hate her. How could I? She was human. Flawed, lonely. Searching for something she thought she'd lost. Maybe we both were. But I've learned something in all this. Love doesn't end in an explosion, it fades in whispers. The kind you think no one hears. And when I think back to that night, the laughter, the lights, the music, I realize something simple, painful, and true. The thing she missed wasn't him. It was the way she used to feel about herself when someone loved her like I did.